Hello, I'm Amy Zawi with the Jerusalem Connection Friday Red Alert Report for September 8th. A rush to recovery despite being maligned. 45 years ago this week, from September 5th, 11 Israelis, a few athletes, a couple of coaches, and some referees were brutally murdered in Munich by Palestinian terrorists. It was only recently that the Olympic Committee even dared to recognize this as a recurring moment of silence over the years. Indeed, while it is certain that Israel is often the lamb and the wolves surround her, she is often portrayed in the media as just the opposite. While it is true that Palestinians suffer, in particular women and children and Christians and other ethnic and religious minorities, it is at the hand of their own leadership, despite the efforts that Israel has made to help their cause. And yet these very victims are often brainwashed in believing that Israel is their enemy. It has been 45 years since that event in Munich, and 69 since the inception of Israel, that the citizens of Israel have been the victims of terrorist attacks and malignment. But despite this, Israeli forces and Israeli citizens continue to offer help around the world in the face of disaster and tragedy. In particular, they were one of the first teams into Houston to help with disaster relief. And they helped everybody, regardless of skin color, ethnic minority, ethnic origin, or religious orientation. Israel was one of these first countries in by a team sent by Israel Aid, working together with local authorities. They sent in mental health workers, medics, doctors, and engineers, all to help with what's needed to recover from the disaster of Hurricane Harvey. Conan O'Brien recently has been in Israel touring various humanitarian hospitals and other landmarks, and has been noting his impression of the region on his social media, and he's been doing this with great respect and love for Israel. He noted particularly how much Israel has helped the victims of Syria who are suffering at the hands of their own chaotic leadership. Israel reaches out to its enemies in covert and overt ways, and Ziv Hospital, located in the north, has been reaching, in a town called Zavat, has reached out to more than 2,000 Syrians, giving them medical aid as they managed to get to the border. Conan O'Brien visited this hospital and was extremely impressed, and posted on social media some wonder with the organization. Quote, "I am amazed and excited to see what is being done here at Ziv for the sake of the people from a neighboring country and an enemy. I think you are the ones who need to receive the Nobel Peace Prize." That was extremely exciting to read, especially in the face of a UN Council that continues to baffle anyone with some clear thinking skills, as it always points fingers of accusations of oppression and human rights violations at Israel. Even Linda Sarsour continues to have a voice and a podium amongst U.S. media as well as college campuses, equating Zionism and Israel with everything from being anti-feminist to racist and Nazis. She and the UN produce leaps that defy logic, and yet they still have a podium on the world stage. I don't see anyone in the limelight of the BDS movement or those in the UN who try to twist history to fit its agenda, noting the humanitarian efforts of Israel and its people, as well as its government. I also don't see any information about humanitarian efforts coming out of neighboring nations that seem to malign Israel consistently, including Syria, Iran, and any of the oil-rich, wealthy nations who could be doing a lot more to help its own citizens and regional inhabitants. Israel is a country the size of New Jersey, and since its inception has decided it was going to help its neighbors and people worldwide despite what is being said and done against them. They use the Hebrew language. In Hebrew, the term is tikkun olam, which is to repair the world, as a starting point for their perspective. Isaiah 1:16 through 17 sums it up by saying, "Devote yourself to justice, aid the wrong, uphold the rights of the orphan, and defend the widow." It is these values that the Israeli nation respects and holds dearly, and is manifested in many or most of its individual citizens. Several agencies oversee worldwide humanitarian efforts, including Mashav, which was started in 1957 as part of the Foreign Ministry Department under Golda Meir. As well, Israel Aid, the organization that sent its group into Houston, is a nonprofit, non-governmental organization focusing on disaster relief and long-term support. Since its establishment in 2001, it's gone to nearly every crisis in the 21st century. Their personnel includes IDF members as well as civilians, medics, doctors, engineers, rescue team, post-trauma experts, and the like. And they try to arrive in the earliest days possible after disaster. In fact, in 2010, the earthquake in Haiti, this particular group was amongst the first on the ground in Haiti and saved thousands of lives. And they set up a world-class field hospital that even the World Health Organization noted as #1 in the world. As well, the New York Times reported years of dealing with terrorist attacks combined with advanced medical technologies has made Israel the nimblest country ever in disaster relief. Israel Aid on its own has already helped in over 140 nations. Another fascinating outreach point is that aid volunteers undertake very dangerous missions coming from Israel to deliver food and medicines into Syria, helping desperately needing people. One of its disaster leaders is quoted as saying, "We are a group of Israeli citizens who love our country and homeland and believe in the Jewish tradition and culture that values compassionate, open-minded respect for the sanctity of human life and dignity. We believe we are blessed to be born in a democratic country that enables citizens to travel to dangerous and challenging places. Israel feels a moral and ethical duty to become the voice of the voiceless, even among our toughest and cruelest enemies," unquote. So keep these facts in mind, this historical perspective and this cultural perspective, when you read about and hear people railing against Zionists as if Zionism is somehow a dirty word, when you see organizations point fingers at Israel as the oppressor and the violator of all peoples in the Middle East. Truth must always be both a defensive and an offensive tool in the PR war, in the war of ideas, and in our daily walk. Shavua Tov, have a great week, and Shabbat Shalom.